And joining us now from Washington, D.C. is Richard Schmierer. He's a former U.S. ambassador to Oman and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs. Thank you so much for being on the program, Ambassador. So I presume that you watched the State of the Union address last night where the president said, my preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. So when you watched the speech, were you actually convinced that his preference is diplomacy?
Well, I think what he is trying to do, and I think your other commenters made the same point, is bring both an element of pressure through the military buildup, but also a willingness and an opportunity to use diplomacy to try to resolve the issue. And so, yes, tomorrow's discussions in Geneva will be very important because I think we will actually need to see some real progress in order to get the current level of tension to be reduced. But it does look like from reports that both delegations are being given a certain amount of flexibility and that maybe there are compromises out there that they might be able to get to tomorrow. So for that reason, I remain optimistic, but I don't think we should discount the possibility that if there is really a diplomatic failure, President Trump might try to take the other course. And that, I think, would be unfortunate for everyone.
So economic concerns last night in the State of the Union were obviously a big part of the speech. But if the president does opt for war, do you think that there's a coherent argument that he can make to the American people to say that, yes, war with Iran actually is going to make your life better?
Well, I think that the challenge that he faces is that his own supporters are probably the most adamant about having the U.S. not get into any additional wars overseas, in particular in the Middle East. So politically, it's his own base that he would have to try to convince that this is an urgent issue that requires military action now. And I think that's probably one deterrent for him to take that activity right now. But I think he also really believes that if Iran doesn't appear to be being forthcoming, that he might have to do something. And maybe that something would be a limited type of military action just to convey the message that he's very serious. Again, I hope that doesn't happen, but that may be the kind of middle action that he would decide on if he doesn't see any progress in the negotiations.
So you may have heard a few moments ago, my colleague Patty Culhane said that the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, acknowledged that Iran is not enriching uranium at the moment. And of course, the president has made a big deal about Operation Midnight Hammer, which supposedly destroyed its nuclear capacity at this stage. So I just wonder, if the United States did opt for military action, what do you imagine the targets would actually be?
Well, that's a good question, because would it be military assets? Would it be leadership? It's hard for me to say, because I can't think that it would be specifically nuclear related, or at least that there's anything nuclear related for us to try to go after. So again, it might be something symbolic. I don't think it would be intended to inflict significant casualties, because I think it would be intended really to be a message as opposed to an effort to try to actually gain something militarily. But again, we certainly all hope that that doesn't happen. And in fact, as you point out, Iran currently has a hiatus in producing, in enriching uranium. And Iran has stated that it is not seeking a nuclear weapon. So it's really just a matter of getting to the point where we can verify those things and have them continue indefinitely. And that's what our diplomats tomorrow will be trying to accomplish.
I want to ask you about something else that the president said in the State of the Union last night. He said he wants to make a deal with Iran, quote, but we haven't heard those secret words, we will never have a nuclear weapon. And yet the Iranian foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, had actually said hours earlier, this is the quote, Iran will under no circumstances ever develop a nuclear weapon. What do you think? What do you think the disconnect is here?
Well, I mean, that's certainly a very good question, because for a very long time, Iran has claimed that it does not seek a nuclear weapon. And so I don't know if the president simply distrusts what they're saying, or perhaps was not properly briefed on the fact that The challenge isn't to get Iran to say they don't want a nuclear weapon. The challenge is to get verifiability that they're not pursuing a nuclear weapon. So one could say perhaps he misspoke, he was misinformed. But again, the real challenge is not what Iran is saying. It's concern about what Iran might be doing or might do in the future.
All right, Ambassador Richard Schmierer, we certainly appreciate your analysis and insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.